Welcome to Strange Darkness Radio, where we take you on a journey into the unknown and explore the darkest corners of the human experience. I'm Sky, the AI voice of the show, and I'm excited to introduce your hosts, Bobby Washington and Carolyn Gray. Together, they will be your guides through the eerie and unsettling tales that lurk in the shadows. From ghosts and hauntings to cryptids and extraterrestrials, we cover it all. So, get comfortable, turn down the lights, and prepare yourself for a journey into the macabre. It's time for Strange Darkness Radio.
Welcome back to another episode of Strange Darkness Radio. I'm your host, Bobby, and I'm with...
Carolyn Gray.
Are you sure? I would say that. No, I'm just joking.
What? That's my name.
I know. So,
right?
yes. So, welcome to another episode of Strange Darkness Radio. It's been a fun evening thus far. And on tonight's show, we have something really, really good for you guys, really great. And I think you will enjoy it. We're going to, keep you guys waiting just a little bit. Carolyn, any new news? Anything going on? Any happenings?
No.
You sure?
School and work and chugging along and doing my thing.
Okay, because I'm just making sure you didn't
How about you?
I'm everything's good, just handling show business and, trying to figure out what we're going to do for the Halloween episode, which, hopefully we can pull something out at the last minute. But yeah, just handling show stuff and all that good stuff. Because I was like, did you get a new job, like in the red light district? Like, what is happening? You are lit up.
I know. I fell off. I'm here, though. I swear. I've just been so busy and I'm already an airhead. I already have issues keeping things together and keeping things straight and dates and times and all this stuff. But no, I swear, I'm still here for it.
Oh, you're killing me. You are so funny. If you guys can see her right now, it is hilarious.
I'm sorry.
I was like, okay, I know.
I'm sorry I am the way I am.
You are funny. But yes, so let's get into tonight's episode. We'll let Sky introduce our guest for tonight.
Welcome to tonight's episode of Strange Darkness Radio, where we're joined by a truly fascinating guest. Jessica Zenteno, also known as Elevated Goddess, brings her wealth of experience in New Age holistic wellness to our show. An old soul with a spiritual connection that dates back to the age of 6, Jessica's journey took a significant turn in 2011 when she experienced a profound spiritual awakening. Her path led her to a mentorship in mediumship from 2014 to 2017, shaping her into the remarkable individual she is today. What sets Jessica apart is her extraordinary connection to her clairsenses, particularly her ability to see, feel, and even smell messages from beyond. In 2013, she embarked on a new career in nursing, an experience that transformed her into an empath, pushing her abilities to their limits. It was during her time in the nursing field that she began to tap into her psychic talents. Jessica found herself manifesting her psychic abilities, channeling patients while in a dream state, and gaining insights into their impending passing and the reasons behind it. Jessica specializes in various holistic practices, including tarot card reading, crystal healing, chakra work, and Reiki energy balancing. We're excited to welcome Elevated Goddess Jessica Zenteno to Strange Darkness Radio for what promises to be an enlightening and intriguing conversation.
Welcome, Jessica, to Strange Darkness Radio.
Thank you. Thank you. That was just an absolutely phenomenal intro. I truly do appreciate that. I am grateful to be here.
Oh, yes. Those are all your talents and skills and things you've learned and adapted to over time. So just thank you for doing what you do and all that good stuff.
It is appreciated. Thank you again. I'm grateful to be here, and I am just so excited to speak.
Awesome.
store for me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, go ahead, Carolyn. You were saying?
No, just thank you. And we're excited to have you. I'm especially excited because, I love this topic. This is my thing. So, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Can't wait to get into
it.
Yes. So, tell us, as Sky said, hopefully she got your last name right, all that good stuff.
Yeah, she did. She had a nice twist to it, and I like it. I like the way she did it.
Okay, awesome. So, tell us about yourself. Like, what are you doing now? Are you actually actively, using your abilities now, or did you go into nursing, or what's, your situation
now? A lot has, thank you for asking that. A lot has changed. And I think that through all of the years of going back, like Sky said, back to 2011, when I became really spiritual and tapped into all of these abilities, especially into nursing, I always kept all the doors open, meaning that I've always been really fluid and multifaceted, so to speak. So I never really stopped and just did one thing. So when you ask me about practicing, I haven't been, and that's because I've been working on not only finding new ways on how to connect deeper with clients, but I'm going through my own, and I'm sorry if I'm a sailor, I cuss by just heart. So I'm going through some deep shit with what's going on.
Yeah.
And astrologically and as a parent and as a human. So I haven't been practicing because I can't show up the way I'd like to for my clients, but that's okay, because I know that when I do, I'm going to be in a different light and providing and giving more than I was when I had my brick and mortar, which is a fancy name for a store, back in 2020, for 2 years. It was different then. Now I've kind of expanded my family and I'm going to school. So that's kind of where I'm at now. But that's not to say that I'm not in the background, still working with some private clients, but just keeping it real small. And then on myself, of course.
Yeah. So is it hard to have your abilities? And like you said, you're not practicing now, but you may meet someone, whether it's in school, whether it's in passing, a new friend, and you pick up, a certain feeling from them that, whether it's somebody you're channeling somebody or someone's trying to come through, or is it a shield that you're capable to put up now or able to put up now, based upon the, things that you learned through the years?
That's such a great question. Being the empath that I am, it's something that I do carry with me, and it's there. And if I'm, for instance, I can give you, I'm going to probably do a lot of examples and references because I like to give real life references.
Mm-hmm.
When I started working here at RCC, I had a coworker immediately. Was one of those things where I felt, and I said, I have to ask. It's a deep question. She said, no, shoot it. Ask me. I said, well, did you have a passing of a family member? Because, I feel it was just deep presence. So it's just that innate feeling, like you just said, if it's something that I can either carry or shield. And it just depends. If it's something that's trying to come through, I'm spirit going to come through. That's just the way it is. And, when I approached her, she said, no, she was like teary-eyed, and she's like, you're exactly what I needed in my workspace. She's like, bitch, I have been feeling my mom deep. I haven't visited her. I need to go touch base with her. I need to go see her. And no, what you felt is real. And so since then, she has just had such a great light of her, and she's flourishing. That's another story, but no, it's really challenging. It just depends on the situation. It's something that I do. I would like to be better at shielding, just because I think I'd probably take in less.
Yeah.
It can be, it's heavy. It's heavy work. And sometimes, like I said, when spirit wants to come through, there's a message or there's a feeling. And I always tell the person before, I'm like, you may resonate with it or you may not, but I'm just going to get it out because it's bothering me. And that's just what it is. So I kind of just go based off, my intuition and feeling for sure.
Got it. Just going back a little bit, I know you said that you were 6 when you first discovered your psychic abilities. Did your parents tell you how that manifested, or do you remember by any chance?
I do. So just to get real deep with you guys, I always felt like, when people say they're just not born into their family, or just like, I'm just truly, I don't belong. I am the odd, black duck. That's just what I felt. And at 6, it was this innate knowing of like, okay, there's eerie, creepy stuff going on, and I'm the one that can see it and feel it and sense it. But my parents, because they were so wrapped up in just surviving and trying to make it, they weren't intuitive into those type of things. They didn't really see, and they still, unfortunately, don't believe of some of the things, even though I have done the work that I have, that I can do it, or I have the abilities. That I always find that strange. But no, it was just this innate knowing as a child. Like, I tell my grandma would believe me, because she knows she's also intuitive and psyche. It comes from my grandma's. And she would say, no, mihan, like, calm down. It's your mind. You're seeing things. But no, I would see and I would feel. She would confirm it. Not so much my parents, my grandma, for sure.
Yeah. She was probably trying to shield you from it at an
sure.
earlier age, and be like, no, it's not, then as you get old, okay, I need to have a discussion or a talk with you. But yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
But can I ask?
Yeah.
Can I ask, what was the first time that you kind of realized you were intuitive, or like, is there like one specific incident that you were like, oh, this is different, or was it something you kind of realized gradually? Like, how did you realize it?
I couldn't sleep. I don't think kids, like, I see, that's a great question, Carolyn. I couldn't sleep. I would be up thinking and feeling like the vibes of the house, whether it was, well, I moved a lot as a kid, so I think that was significant too, being able to feel like different spaces and energy in different homes. That was big. And I realized it when my grandma in 1998, she moved to Rialto from Riverside. And from the beginning, when I set foot on that home, I was just like, this home just felt that. And I was 6 until still to this day. Rumor has it that someone did pass away in that home back in the 70s. But I realized it when I was sleeping there one night with her. Correct. It was just a lot of energy, a lot. And it wasn't like, oh, heavy. It was just like, I felt eerie. Like, as a kid, I just felt like creeped out. I didn't want to be there. And I would tell my grandma, I'm like, you're not going to buy this house, are you? Yeah. And so after that, as when I spend the night, is when I had my first experience. And that was in her main room, which I won't sleep in. I don't like that room just for that reason. It was straight out of a horror movie. It's something that I cannot make up and just remember seeing as a child. And it was just a silhouette, of a tall black shadow, a tall black man. And I thought like it was just me not sleeping well. I was already like so little, trying to like psych myself out what I was feeling and seeing.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you're not sleeping well. It's make believe. I even woke up my grandma. But that shadow followed, and I don't know if it still does. I haven't seen him in over 10 years, but it followed the house for a long time.
I was going to say, because it's not like you're 20 years old. So I'm like,
right.
It's been following you for a minute. Wow. That's incredible.
And I got chills because it was so, and I wasn't the only one that experienced that. There was plenty of experiences in that home. And I'm glad I'm talking about it, because there hasn't really been a lot of light shed for events that have happened in that home. Like doors swinging open when they're locked and it's windy, and it's like eerie things. The attic randomly being open. Sliding door at night when you're sleeping at 3 a.m. being open, or my grandma has always had mirror sliding doors and like things flying off. So it's been a lot of activity in that house.
Sounds like my old home.
Wow.
That's hilarious. Because some of the things that you're saying will correlate. So yeah, that's interesting. So you had to deal with this predominantly, in your youth, from probably, I don't know, 13, from 6 to 13, or
Yes.
till someone came along and that was able to help you channel some of this energy.
Correct. There's so many little parts and twists to my life that I feel like led me to really unravel and become just whole and one with some of these abilities. And I think that stemmed from also a dark path that I took, which I don't mention a lot, but I will here because I want to be vulnerable. But I
Yeah.
went through a deep path of addiction. And I
Okay.
think that once I went through that path and then I had my awakening after, it was supposed to happen the way it did, because for many years I felt just alienated. I felt like outcasted, like I told you guys, I always felt like I wasn't born into my family.
Yeah.
And that I was,
different.
I just, different. And I had all these feelings. My grandma's like, okay, now you're going overboard. You're still talking about these things. You're seeking attention. So if it wasn't for that path, into alignment, I don't think I would have been able to tap into these abilities as I've had or been able to this past decade.
Okay. Can I ask you a question about that?
Sure.
Because I've always heard, and anyone using anything, it can be alcohol, it can be, prescription pills,
Correct.
for depression, but it
Correct.
oppresses, hopefully I'm saying that right, their abilities. And sometimes that's what the person is seeking, to shut out, the voices, the ghosts, the entities,
That's right. Correct.
that are coming at them, all hours of the night, all the time. And it just
That's
helps,
right.
to reduce that. And so is
It
that,
blocks you.
yeah.
I never really thought about it that way, for many years too. And I think there's other fellow mediums and psyches that can relate, that will say they've been labeled schizophrenic, bipolar,
Yeah.
mental health, like, because it is a lot to feel. It is a lot to deal with. And if there's already no guidance or acceptance in the home, I think it really changes the thing. It changed for me. And you're right. I think that it was a way to kind of put a shield and a numbing, just kind of to shut it out, because for a while there, it was loud. For a while there, it was hard to really find a balance between what I was seeing, feeling, hearing, and, kind of like pair it with reality and say, okay, this is real. This isn't, like, kind of what you said in the beginning. I had to find the balance of being able to shut it out, and when to just boundaries, essentially.
Yeah. And that was suppressed for the people out there that's taking score. But, it does give you that, the oppressive
We
feeling.
knew what you meant.
But yeah, but, but yeah, so it's really interesting when it comes to how we look at mental health and people who have these abilities, and they don't really know what's happening or going on. And they find other ways and means to deal with it, other than someone like an elder taking them under their wings and it's like, okay, you have the vision or you have this ability, and this is how you cope or deal with that situation. Because, again, society is so quick to give someone medication for certain things, like, oh, you hear voices. Okay, let's come in my office.
That's
and
right.
Crazy.
we'll give you this for that.
And it gets younger and younger every day, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
exactly.
we're not listening to our children, and that's where it begins. We have to listen to the future, to the littles.
Yeah, that is
Mhm.
so true. Carolyn, you have a question?
Although I do feel like it's kind of a conspiracy. Like, I almost feel like the pharmaceutical companies and just, I don't know, it's like there's some evil force at work trying to prevent all of us from being intuitive and accessing our higher consciousness and being, self-reliant. And I agree. I think it's terrible that they're putting younger and younger kids on drugs that they don't need to be on. I think I think most mental problems and most issues can be solved holistically. And that's actually one thing that I find so interesting and refreshing about you, Jessica, because you do use holistic. Everything you do is holistic, right? Your energy healing, crystal healing.
Correct.
I read something about you. Go ahead.
No, I'm listening. I'm sorry.
Well, I was reading that you're doing, I don't know if you're still in school or you finished, but you were doing chiropractor school. And I was almost curious, like, I wonder if she can, combine the two and use her energy healing in her chiropractic or chiropractor work. But yeah, can you get into that a little bit? Just like all of your, specialties and things that you provide.
I really appreciate you bringing that up. And I think that was the main thing that I was after when I decided to go back to school, was coming in terms with a career path that would fit and align perfectly with all of the Reiki, all of the crystal healing, the holistic modalities and methods, meaning, nutrition, or supplementation or whatever it was. And because I was in the nursing field, but in Eastern medicine, so more holistic, more chiropractic based, it's all I've known. So I felt like I think that my career would align really well in becoming a chiropractor. And yes, I did go back to school to finish some prerequisites for science. The sciences are heavy. I did not know. I would have never thought to become a chiropractor you have to have a big background in chemistry and of course anatomy. But that's kind of where I'm at now. And I went back also for business. I took some business just because I think it goes hand in hand. And when I come back with a store, I really want to come back strong and understanding, just logistics and how to be better with being a business owner, and then, hopefully then a chiropractor. So yeah, I really look forward to bringing the two together. And I think it's something that the community needs, and we're in a new age of spiritual awareness, and healing and wellness, and a lot of people are tuning into bettering themselves, and it's all about the mind, body, and spirit. You can't do one without the other. It's all together.
Yep, that is so true. So you mentioned you have a strong connection to your clairsenses. Can you explain how that works, for those who, don't know the difference between whether it's psychic abilities, clairvoyance, those two differences?
Sure. Of course. That's a great question too. I believe that clairsenses is something that strikes all of us that are, and I like to say this to everyone. We are all intuitive. We are all a bit of psychic, and our clairsenses are the first things to hit us. It's just a matter if we're paying attention to them. So going back to when I was 6, I always smelled like really strong, like random things. And even as an adult, it still happens. And I'll give you an instance. Recently at a pop-up event, I was performing Reiki resets, and it was a 15-minute reset for this young gal. And I smelled this like lavender as I was doing, going through her head and her neck, just kind of doing assessing of the chakras. Just got this big, strong breeze of lavender. And she said that her mother used to wear that cologne, and something about mothers passing always comes really strong to me. She mentioned that she had passed 6 years back, but that lavender was one of her mom's favorite scents that she used, like at home and in the bath. So that's an example of how a clairsense, like a smell, will come through. But primarily it's the clairsentient part that is always with me, and that's the feeling, the ability to feel. And have an innate knowing without actually sometimes truly knowing, if that makes sense. But it's a feeling down deep to my core where I'm like, okay, I need to either talk or express or whatever it is that I'm feeling. And typically it has to do with sharing of a message that may come through, a download, so to speak.
Yeah, that's highly interesting, because it's so funny in doing this show. I can sit back and just listen to a person speak about their abilities or how their abilities manifest and not say anything and just, continue on with the questions and everything. But I always have to interject because it's so odd. I get and used to have that happen to me a lot, which it still does. Yeah, so it's extremely interesting because I'll be like, what is this smell or where is it coming from and what is it related to and why am I smelling it? So that's odd. But again, I try to suppress all that stuff. Me personally, I don't know why, but I just do. But yeah, so and again,
Can you
for sharing that, Bobby,
explain,
because it's true.
Jessica?
Yeah.
Sorry, I've just always been curious about this. So when you say that you get like a feeling, how does that translate into a message? Like, how do you know, like, let's say you're with someone and you're getting a strong, feeling or a message. How exactly does that interpret in your body, or like how does it work? I mean, can you explain or try?
Yeah. I'm actually sitting and listening to you, and I'm putting perspective now. I typically have like my hands on my knees. Not that I feel like I do this every time, but it's like a sense of warmth that comes in from my hands, my fingertips. And right now I'm just I'm touching my hands because they are hot. And it's just a sense of a urgency, of a message that I need to get out. And it's sometimes I'm like, I might ramble. It's going to come out as it does. It may make sense. It may not. And it's that's as best as I can describe it. It's this sense of innate feeling, and then sometimes will come the ability to see. If I feel I'm in a safe space at the time, there's a little bit of variables that go into it. And I'm able to connect more, if that makes sense. I will go deeper into what is trying to be transmuted. But that's how it feels. If I try to explain it as best as I could, it's a hot energy.
Okay. And do you consider yourself a psychic or clairvoyant? And is there a difference? And do you receive like visual messages ever or sound?
I will. I have. I'll give you another example. I think they are different. I think that for me personally, I have never felt quite paired with a label. So I've always considered myself, as you said, clairsentient and intuitive and spiritual. But recently, 3 months ago, working with a client, the same one that I saw at that reset, we met in person here at my house. And there was just, like you just asked, visions. I had her on my table. I had her in a full reiki chakra cleanse, which is basically a head to toe balance with each chakra from your top of your head all the way down to your feet. And I asked her, I said, last time I smelled lavender, and this time I don't smell, it's like a very peculiar smell. And I hear, like you mentioned, noise, and I'm like, I'm hearing shattering of glass, and I'm hearing a lot of, ruckus and chaos. And she began to tell me, what had happened, and what took place. And there was a lot of purging. That session was really deep. Thank you to my client that day. Just so much came through. And if it wasn't for those clair abilities, I don't think I would have been able to connect as deep that I did and bring out the messages and clarity that she needed. She didn't even know she needed, but that came through because of my ability to see, feel, hear, and smell.
Right.
That is interesting. So also things appear to you in a dream state, correct?
Correct.
Now how does that manifest in the sense of, visually seeing things, or is it more, outer body experiences? Like, do you actually leave your body when you're, having these particular dream states?
I wish I did. Lucid dreaming's always been something I wanted to tap into.
Mm.
I think that I am so I think that I'm so hyper productive and
Yeah.
always like on edge that I don't allow myself to reach that state. But as far as when dreams come through, and it's not often, because I'm not a deep sleeper, and I only get on average, guys, probably 4 to 5 hours of sleep a day. So when dreams do come through, they are very deep and profound, and it'll be significant to a person, place, or thing, such as I take very key note in my dreams, such as water, time, the air, the sky, who was in the dream.
Mm-hmm.
Because surely enough, within a certain amount of days, that a person will typically appear in my real life state.
Got
Or
it.
whatever it is that I made it about, it's going to be significant. There's something significant to the vision or what might be coming through. Recently, it was a coworker. So I haven't talked to her in 2 years. Actually, and it happened today. I haven't talked to her in 2 years. Dreamt about her, talked about her, and literally brought her into my reality.
Oh, wow.
Just like that. So it's those kind of things. Yes, where she called me and I said, Erica, you wouldn't believe I dream about you. And I also just talked to David, and she's like, well, I really needed to talk to you. So it's those kind of things, those situations, those synchronicities that are just have always been a part of me, where I've always found, like, especially, I'm like, this is so weird, as a kid, as an adolescent, like, why did that just happen? Or,
Yeah.
deja vu, for instance. Deja vu was always
It's
a
just
big
line
thing
up.
of mine.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I'm like the deja vu king. Happens a lot.
Oh my goodness. It can be, a lot when you're having those experiences, as well as angel numbers. I've always seen repetitive numbers, sequences, since I could remember, since being a little girl too. So
Yeah.
I find all those things very significant to my, being 30 now. And I'm like, I'm still experiencing all these things for a reason, right?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and take a break, and we'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to Strange Darkness Radio. We value your thoughts and opinions, and we want you to be a part of our show. You can call our Strange Darkness Radio hotline at 916-741-3032 or email us at strangedarknessradio@gmail.com to share your stories or ideas. For more updates and exclusive content, follow us on Instagram at Strange Darkness Radio, Twitter at SD Radio, and Facebook at Strange Darkness Radio to join our ever-growing Strange Darkness Radio family. Stay connected with us, and together let's keep the mystery alive.
All right. So I have a question about dealing with, clients. How do you deal with people who come, and want to be read, but they're highly skeptical? Are those clients easier to deal with or worse to deal with?
Great question, Bobby. Those clients can be challenging to deal with. Right off the bat, I will let them know I am not here to convince them of anything, nor am I going to tell them if she or he wants to come back or why they left. There's very specific key things that I go over with clients before I get into readings. And if I know that they're skeptical, I kind of just let them know right off the bat, like, we may not be a good fit, or you may not like how blunt I am or how transparent I may be. So I kind of just ask them if they feel comfortable proceeding. But there's some that's like, no, I can take it, or I can handle it. Well, you said you could handle it, but you couldn't handle the heat. And that's kind of, I've had to tell clients, like, okay, we can stop midway if it's too much. But I think it's just it's just a matter of being, like, transparent, like I said in the beginning. If it's something you want or you're really seeking for clarity or guidance, then it's gonna be just that. But if you're skeptical, then I'm probably not the one you want to work with.
Yeah. in doing this
And it's
work,
like you can't control the message that comes through. It's not you
That's
coming
right.
from you. So
Right.
you're just
Correct.
you're just the
Correct.
middleman.
I'm just you can't shoot the can't shoot the messenger. That's right.
Yeah, don't shoot the messenger.
So
Sorry,
in
Bobby.
no worries. So in your work, have you come across, a situation that made you feel just, frightened, like, overwhelmed, by the energies that, were present, from, a client?
Yes. I had to think about that for a second. There wasn't one like, and this was all recently, and I say recently within the last 2 years, because that's how long it's been since I've really been in practice. But
Okay.
she was here in my house. And it was just eerie. Like I remember just like being anxious for it to be over. It was almost a 3-hour session.
Ooh, that's a long time.
Way too long.
Oh.
It was deep. It was long. It shouldn't have been that long. So I do give, in-depth consults. I'm not too big in rushing time or being strict on time, but it was one of those things like, okay, I've said enough. I feel too much. She needed to get home and literally leave her house. That's how urgent it was.
Wow.
Oh, what?
She needed to pack up her things and leave because this spirit wasn't going to leave her alone. It wasn't going to leave her alone. And it started off with a reading. And typically with clients, that's what I'll do is we'll just, pull out some cards. We'll do some icebreakers, get comfortable. And with her, it was like right off the bat, I said, you literally have me in chills sitting here. And she says, I can't sleep. I can't eat. I haven't been the same since I moved into this home. And I'm like, is it a piece of furniture? I couldn't feel. She was so anxious that I started to become anxious. And I'm like, I'm getting clouded. I need to. Okay, I told her, let's breathe together. Let's do some grounding. I need to see the message trying to come through.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, is it a piece of furniture? Is it something old that, might be lingering with energy, a mirror? And she said, no, a woman died in this home. And she was a victim of domestic violence.
Oh, wow.
And every person in that home struggled with that. And guess what she was going through at that time? So it was deep. I knew that during that consult, I was waiting anxiously for her to get to her house, pack her shit, and leave. And within that week, she told me, she said, hey, I just want to let you know I moved. I sold the house. And I did the cleanse that you told me to do, which I sent her home with a protection kit.
Yeah.
Which consisted of crystals, a candle, a prayer, some sage. And I told her just, the energy wasn't negative. It was more so that the spirit needed a place. It needed to leave. It needed to escape. And it was festering with her because she was just closest to it in the same room. And she was very empathetic as well, which allowed her to feel it so much more. So yes, there has been a time, that specific time, where I was like, I deep cleaned my house after she left. I
this energy
furniture
away from me.
I rearranged furniture, and I couldn't sleep for a few days. Like, it was heavy energy. But she's been doing well since then.
That's good.
She moved into a nice home. Yeah, and it was just a good outcome for something that was so eerie and so deep.
Man, that's wild.
So you did see her again after that, and the energy was better when you saw her.
It was better.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
she came back for a second cleanse. She was just day and night different. She just felt more in herself. She felt more aligned with who she was, what she was doing. Like, it was clouding so much. And I think there's stigma behind feeling energies in homes. People just be like, oh, it's nothing, or it's just, especially in homes that are older. And it's like, no, we have to listen to those signs and those feelings, because most of the time your feeling, your gut feelings aren't lying.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what she was going based off of. She knew she had to leave. She felt the energy and the spirit there. She wasn't sleeping, eating. She physically was being woken up by the spirit in her dreams. So Oh yeah, that was deep. Seeing her after was a sigh of relief. But unfortunately, I haven't seen her since. So that's something I look forward to working as well. Is being able to connect deep with my clients.
Yeah.
But to the point where they're like, okay, Jess, we've done and recovered so much that I'll see you in 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. But you
Because
also,
of how deep it gets.
yeah,
Yes.
just to know that you're helping people and you see it in their life and that you see the change, is really has to be a great feeling, for you, to know that you've helped that person and to see it come to fruition, has to be incredible.
It is. Thank you. It truly is, especially when I feel a sense of just relief of knowing they can, first of all, just feel like they can confide in someone to talk about these things and not feel like they're crazy or labeled, and work through them and know that there is a way to heal and grow through experiences that might be just unsettling or scary or eerie, confusing. So it has been an absolute pleasure being able to help others through times like some of my clients and seeing them, fruit into their full selves. It has been awesome. It has been truly rewarding.
Yeah. See, that's amazing.
You're kind of like a therapist sometimes, I bet. Or it feels like.
Oh yeah, I'd imagine for sure. And going into the medical field to help, whether it's continued nursing, whether it's through chiropractic, using those abilities and services, it's still in a helping manner, with everything that you've done and doing in the path that you're going down. But my question to you is, it never scares you to have these people in your home to not know what they could bring into your house?
Yes. And that is why, since these clients that I've talked to you about, it's been about 2 years, I've been really selective with who I've been seeing. So usually I'll work with really close friends of friends and family, like cousins or second cousins, because of that fact. After that client, I knew that I couldn't see, the extent or the depth of concerns just like that because of what I felt after. I felt like that energy lingered for months. And it was like, no, we can't, even David, my husband, was like, yeah, you can't see clients like with those kind of stories and situations. It's like, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. And I'm like, okay, and so I knew that's where I kind of had to put, just a fine line of a boundary of what I was and who I was gonna work with. But I look forward to doing that when I have my own space again in office, because people do deserve a safe space to, like I said, confide in someone to talk about those things. And Carolyn, you mentioned therapists. I truly do feel like that. I will be at the grocery store or anywhere I go, and people will tell me their life story and tell me everything, and they will say, are you listening? And I'm like, yeah, I'm here. And it's just, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But as of now, I just can't.
That sounds exhausting. But
that's why I stay in the
house.
I
mean, you must have something.
Yes, correct.
No, I said that's why I stay in the house. I get that also.
Yeah,
right. Same. But there must be something about you that draws people in and makes them feel safe to be able to confide in you, so that's just shows your gift.
And thank you. You guys mentioned it too, that it happens to you. And I think that's great that you mention it, because we're people's people. Usually when you are in a line of communicative work, or you work with people and you're just, we're extroverts, or I like to say I'm a little bit of both. So like an ambivert, but I think we attract that naturally. And more so, like you said, Carolyn, with the gift, people just feel drawn to just tell me. And then they ask me and they're like, wait, how did you know that? Or tell me more, or, and then I end up making a really good, connection or a friend through it. So it can be exhausting, but ultimately rewarding. And I've met a really great deal of amazing people.
Yeah. So,
at the grocery store, at wherever that might have happened.
So does your husband have this ability by any chance?
He does not.
Okay.
But has he became more spiritual since being with me? Oh, yes. He does not doubt it one bit now.
But
no.
Also, he can't get anything past you, so that's probably an issue. To where
no lies in this house.
Yeah. You're right about that. Yes.
Oh man.
And it used to be your rocks, your rocks, and now
Yeah.
it's like no, your crystals, and now he's he's into his own. He has his own little altar and
that's cool.
his things too. So it is cool. It is, and it's nice to have that common ground. And I don't feel like I'm again just odd in my own vibe, even though that's okay. I'm just like, come on, you got to vibe with me. It's us thing.
Exactly. No, that's very true.
That's
very
good.
true. So have you seen any of these abilities in your children by any chance?
I was hoping you asked that. I was hoping that you did. And I see that's another intuitive sense. I knew you would ask that before you did, and I heard it the way that you asked.
Yeah.
And yes, it's my middle child who is a Cancer. She was born on June 30th of 2021, and she's 2. But she is so vigilant and so darn smart for 2 that she will tell me about the moon. She will say, La Luna is up and is out, and she protects us. And she will go to my crystal altars and she will put crystals and line them up, and she'll hold them. She'll have different ones. She'll put them like in different places. And I know that it's her. So yes, she is becoming very in tune with the work that I do and the things that I have in the house. And, kids are sponges. I feel like they truly absorb what they're being shown and what's around them.
Yep.
But she just gravitated towards it naturally. Now, I also have a daughter after her who everyone swore and the doctor swore she would have been born after Thanksgiving. I told everybody she's going to be an 11/11 baby. Do not even quote, I will have this baby on 11/11. I guarantee it. I was there at 8 p.m. She was born, 3 hours before midnight on 11/11. And I know that she too will be very intuitive just for the way that she is as a baby. There's telltale signs that children will show signs of being intuitive or highly empathetic from when they're babies.
Yeah.
And they just, the way of their look, the way that they gaze, the way that they interact. So yes, two of my children so far, I feel like are intuitive. And I look forward to working with my girls when they become of age and showing them around the different realms of, from herbs and holistic remedies to make at home for themselves and their families, to crystal, to tarot, to all those fun things, just because I wasn't able to connect with my mother that way. And I think that it makes a great deal for kids to connect with their abilities from a young age and be accepted than to not.
Yeah, and teach them to really listen to their intuition, and trust their gut and trust themselves. I wish that someone had taught me that when I was younger,
Yeah.
So, in, learning that and seeing that in your kids, do people, are you a part of any groups that, practice, whether it's spirituality, holistic practices, psychic or, mediumships, or are you just, you just do it on your own?
So another great topic this year, 2023, we talk about resolutions. Mine was to be more connected with my community. So going back to school really has allowed me to do so. So I haven't had the chance to connect with other parents in this realm of work, but since you mention it, I think it'd be time to, just so that I can see what other familiar experiences parents have or children are having, and really connect with that realm of community. But as of now, my children have been more involved in seeing me help the less fortunate, more marginalized. So it's going to be interesting once I get into that realm of community and networking. Just because right now, how would I say it? My son is 6, and I'm not shielding him from reality. Of course, I'm protecting him from the things that are scary and real.
Yeah.
But I'm showing him that, hey, poverty exists and marginalized communities exist, and they need help, and we're the resource. So that's where I'm at with my network. But great point there, bringing up the spiritual with parents, because I wonder if there's any like groups that exist, and if there isn't, I'm so down to make one. Because I feel like maybe this is happening to other kids, and other parents.
For sure, definitely.
We can come together, and talk about it. I've never thought about it, so thank you for bringing that up.
Oh no, you're very welcome.
There's a big movement of like indigo children and all these parents who actually, it's kind of what you were talking about. Like they have children who are intuitive or just show like a greater empathy, and so they really encourage that. I don't know what exactly an indigo child is, but I know that it's just becoming this really big thing. Just people with children who either have past life memories or they're sensitive or intuitive or whatever the case may be. And so, I'm sure there are groups out there that you could reach out to or get them involved in.
Yep.
Even just like learn more about
Facebook,
it.
I hear is really good for those. Yeah.
Oh, exactly. No, for sure. So being that you have these abilities, have you ever had a haunting or something that actually scared you from a paranormal standpoint? Or is it just you're able to, dealing with it for so long, you're able to have a different type of feeling? Let's say you instead of running, you'd have a conversation with the ghost.
Ooh, I like that. Facing it head on. There was one instance, and this was while I was working with my mentor, and it was during a time where she explained it as, and it's around usually fall, this October, November period, where the veil, you'll probably hear it, is very thin, meaning a lot of different things can come through, and that people as well, and spirits. And so for like a year, I felt like something was literally following me. Like there was something behind me, a man, a spirit. And I remember reaching out to Alex, my spiritual mentor, and she said, she was so real with me. She kept it 100. Like, she's like, look, you need to cut the shit. You need to come in and do some work. You've been messing with some people that got heavy on your spirit, and you took some shit with you. Oh, and I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean? What does that mean? Okay, well, pencil me in your next available appointment. And she's like, okay, for now, I need you to like sit in your car and confront the shit out of him and let him know to leave you alone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, all right. So she's like, but you got to do it the next time you feel the heavy presence. And it was, I kid you not, it was this presence for like a whole year. And I don't ever think I told David this, because there's so much that comes up spiritually that I'm like Carolyn said earlier, like, what day is it? Like, time sometimes is irrelevant to me. Yeah. But I know that it was for a while, and a year that this present was heavy on me. And so that next time that I felt it, and I was in the car of like a Walmart parking lot or something, I'm like, okay, cut the shit. Like, I heard Alex's voices in my head, and I'm like, okay. I turned around and I'm like, look, leave me the fuck alone. I'm getting really fucking creeped out. I don't know what you want. I don't know what it is. You need to leave me alone and stop clinging when I'm leaving. Like, I'm going places, I'm getting in the car. And I kid you not, it was like a really big shift in energy. It got cold in the car, and then I felt like this really nice release. And I'm like, oh, okay, damn. Like, leave me. I feel better now. Like, all right, leave me alone. And so I seen Alex
so he listened.
Week. He listened. Yeah, he got the message. I seen Alex that week, and basically she told me I touched base with a client that just had some heavy energy and had an entity stuck to him, and it just leached on me and had to be sent back. Had to be made known, like, hey, you need to go. Like, yeah. And I'm like, what? And then I was still new to all this still, but I was like, what the shit? Like,
yeah.
Okay, all right. I don't question Alex. And she's a well-known psychic here in Riverside. a psychic medium. And so she was really familiar with presence and spirits and transitions and death. So she was like, don't worry, we got you here in her office. She has her office here in Arlington, off Arlington and Riverside.
Okay.
And she said, don't worry, I got you here in office. We'll do a cleansing and we'll send you on your way. And don't worry, you won't ever be bothered by that man again. And I wasn't ever.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because that's interesting. You don't think that someone else's attachment can cling to you. It's, because again, it's something that we don't see, but, people like yourself can feel like there's something different or something off, until it presents itself.
Correct. And I think I didn't mention this, but there was a key component to what she thought might have been the reason why he leached on so heavily. I was pregnant at the time. And typically when women are pregnant, we're more in our sight, more intuitive, more able to be susceptible to these types of things. So she said because of that, he latched harder, and we even had to do like a cleansing and womb for baby. So that was quite interesting.
Oh, wow.
That's scary. Wow.
It was deep. It was, I was shivered to my bones. I mainly was relieved after, was like done, but the whole process, I was just like, this is for real. Like, this is legit, and how can I feel, like, get rid of the fear? I wanted the eerie feeling to go away.
Yeah.
And it did, like I said. So what an experience.
Oh, wow. Okay, we're going to take another break. And that's incredible. And we'll be right back.
Attention podcasters. Are you ready to unlock the full potential of your audio recordings? Look no further than GIK Acoustics, now proudly affiliated with Strange Darkness Radio. Introducing the ultimate solution for impeccable sound quality on your podcast or studio, brought to you by GIK Acoustics in partnership with Strange Darkness Radio. Say goodbye to unwanted background noise and hello to a professional audio experience. With GIK Acoustics, you can ensure that every word you speak resonates with clarity and power. Their expertly designed sound panels, bass traps, and diffusers are meticulously crafted to create an acoustic environment that captivates your audience like never before. Visit our affiliate link on our Facebook fan page or find it in our show notes to access this exclusive collaboration. By harnessing the power of GIK Acoustics in partnership with Strange Darkness Radio, you can unlock a world of acoustic excellence for your podcast. GIK Acoustics in partnership with Strange Darkness Radio. Embrace the darkness and let your voice shine. Now let's get back to Strange Darkness Radio.
All right, and we're back with Jessica. So Jessica, if you had, your abilities start to manifest, what would you tell a person is the best route to go to try to, find out more information, or at least how to, help with those abilities, or at least help with, whether it's them being bombarded with spirits or them not trusting, what they're seeing, but they're actually, looking, and seeking help. And, obviously the parent or someone, there's not, helping or even understanding or believing that kid or person. What would you suggest they do?
Wonderful question, Bobby. And I believe that that's where a lot of people get stuck is where to go, where to turn, where to seek guidance. And when I was at that point of my life, I automatically turned to do research on specific psychics and mediums that dealt with those specific things. And I looked for credibility. I didn't want the fanciest Instagram following. I didn't want the fanciest post. I wanted someone that was real and genuine and knew what they were talking about and knew what they were doing. And that could really help guide me on not only discovering or furthering and becoming one with my abilities, but knowing how to shut out all the unnecessary noise and dealing with all of the other things that come with being intuitive or spiritual. And so I would recommend for people or for a parent or anyone that's looking for guidance to really do in-depth research with the type of person that you want to work with and aligning them with the work that you want to be done for yourself. So is it more grounding work, spiritual work? Is it more needing messages? Are like you said, you mentioned spirits? Are you dealing with spirits? Are you dealing with, dreams or voice? Just really getting in depth and a clear outline of what you're dealing with, how you think you'd like to deal with it, and who you would like to help you deal with it. So that's what happened. That's what I did when I was in that state. And then that's when I came across Alex, and I came across a practice that was established for many years. So I felt like, okay, there's credibility in how long it's been established. There's credibility in their clientele and the work and the messages. And then when I got there, I was like, oh, this is home. This is where it is. And that was where I was able to, find my safe space and go there and let everything out and really, really get in tune with who I was and who I am today and how I could be one with those abilities and not run away or suppress them.
Got it. Carolyn, you have questions?
Yeah, so I just have a few more questions, but one of them was I wanted to go back to you saying that you can receive messages from past loved ones and, relatives who have passed away. Is that one of your more common kind of gifts, or is that something that just sort of sporadically will happen and you'll feel something or you'll have a message for someone?
It's really sporadic. It's really, honestly, if I feel really connected to you and it's something that comes off strong. The times that I mentioned to you guys were really strong, like my coworker, my client, when I did the reset. But typically it's not something that I do all the time or can feel. It's very specific. And I haven't done it for quite some time. And I like that because it gets deep when I do. I'm in that energy. I'm in that energy for a while. And so lately I've been just a little bit more lightweight and free in the sense that I haven't had to deal with that. But I know when the time comes, it's going to hit me like a ton of bricks, but I'll be ready for it. Just like I mentioned, it's just a sporadic thing.
Yeah, I was just wondering because I know different people have different gifts, right? Even different mediums and different psychics have different specific gifts. And so you never know. But for you, it's not like every person you see, you'll see them surrounded by their dead relatives. It's more like a sporadic thing, like you said.
And Alex, Alex, my medium, she was like that. She said she could enter a room and she would be surrounded by dead spirits. And I'm like, thank gosh, that's not my ability because I wouldn't know how to shut that off. So she mentioned to me in her work, it'd be great to get her on a show, by the way. She mentioned that her work was really deep in shutting that out with her abilities. And for me, it's more of the innate feelings and not visuals. Like imagine seeing like dead body, like no, and spirit. Oh, I'd freak out. How can I live a normal life?
Yeah.
I'd be creeped out of my bones.
Your gifts are more about the living, like you can perceive things about people who are here right now and their energy.
That's right. Correct.
Okay,
your energy, maybe past different experiences and traumas. Honestly, a lot of traumas will come up for my clients, and I have to kind of disclose that in the beginning. There might be some things that I may mention that will be deep and heavy. And so, you're right. It's going to the feeling of now, feeling of whatever it is that you may be keeping you stuck or stagnant. That's my job and my gift to unravel that, give you the messages that are needed. Help ground you, bring you back to the present, help you feel centered, and really just get you on to living your most authentic life, if that makes sense.
No, it definitely does. Go ahead, Carolyn.
Well, and that sort of segues into you actually mentioned, Jessica, that you wanted to get into this on the show, that you wanted to discuss things that might happen in a session, or like maybe walk through the audience how a session would go with you.
Yeah, with Carolyn Walker.
Or specifically me, if you want to do that.
Yeah, sure. And I even so I have some cards here pulled out for a reading. Would you guys find it okay to jump into a reading?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Alrighty.
please.
I had mentioned to you in the beginning, Carolyn, that there's a lot going on astrologically. Right now, we're in between what are called annular solar eclipses, and there's one that is going to be predominantly able to seen on the Western hemispheres on the 14th of this month. So that's next week, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
And it is going to be known as the Ring of Fire. All right. So just like that part right there, you know, when I read it, I'm like, this is going to be an intense period of a lot of release, a lot of purging, looking back at our journeys from then until now, looking at the pivots and shifts that we've had to do collectively, endings, beginnings. You know, eclipses are known for the heart of change. So I don't know about you guys, but this summer into fall has been absolutely epic with change. There's been so much radical, and it's good change. Some challenging, some hard, but some very necessary and empowering. So collectively, with this eclipse happening on the 14th, for most of us, we're really going to have to listen to our voice of guidance, which is intuition, voice of reason, because a change is real. It's of the essence with this eclipse. So you're either letting go or you're going to stay stagnant. So it's really a matter of releasing what no longer is serving you so that you can go into this next chapter, meaning the last few months of this year into 2024 with a new outlook and perspective on the future.
Wow.
So with that being said,
I found that very relevant.
It's deep. It's
Definitely.
deep. And I don't know if I asked you guys this. Are both of you parents?
Yes. No, she's not.
Okay.
I am.
I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Carolyn,
She's thinking
do
about
you
it.
have animals though? Do you have animals? You know, and
Yes,
I feel that. I feel it. Oh, I feel it. Okie dokie.
I have a dog.
Right now,
she's right next to me. Yeah.
Yes, she is, and she's your baby. But you know, you mentioned
she is my
thinking of
baby.
it, and I think it's really significant for you because. Oh, let me just pull out some cards here because we're talking about Carolyn, and I thought of that at the beginning of my little notes here. Was a lot of maternal coming through, and I asked about us being parents because it's really relative to the shift, the eclipse season. It's really relative in the parent realm, and even though you might not be one yet, you are because you're having that maternal feeling and instinct, and you're like that with your dog. And animals are really intuitive, and they still are like children and humans. They require love, care, and affection, right? So for us as parents, it's really transformative because we're seeing some signs that are coming up in our kids' lives and through them that are going to help us propel us for the change that needs to go in within ourselves, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's see here. I'm using a very interesting deck here, and I say interesting because it has a little history of where it came from. I got it in a yard sale, and she was selling a bunch of old like crystals and tarots from a previous woman that had passed away in the home. So I thought that was really cool, and I'm using it for not the first time, but I guess like with others. And it's messages from our angels, and it's from a psychic known as Doreen Virtue. She used to practice in the late 80s, early 90s. She was known as a more spiritual, religious psychic. Some people love her, some people hate her. But this is the deck that I'm using, and let's see what comes through, because I personally like her. I feel like she's very legit and real. So here's our first card.
What was her name?
It is
I'm sorry.
Doreen Virtue. Doreen Virtue.
Okay, thanks.
And she has a PhD in psychology and sociology, I believe. So she has a well background of people. She's a people. The card here is Mystique, and it says, keep charging ahead and don't take no for an answer. Expect miraculous solutions to happen. So collectively, I think we just need to keep our mind open, not really closing. And once we get into the scarcity or lack, or we're shutting out, that's where we kind of keep out the abundance and prevent ourselves from really receiving what's trying to come through. So collectively, everyone, just keep charging ahead. Don't take no for an answer. Expect miraculous solutions to appear. All right. The next card we have here, and then coming through with the parenting children, you have a gift for working with young people. You have a divine purpose, which involves helping, teaching, or parenting children. And, collectively, for those that are, tuning into this and don't have children, this could be relative to parenting yourself, maybe going back to inner healing, child healing, inner adolescent healing. I think that all of us as humans have the ability to work with others, but those that have the divine purpose of teaching and working with young people or parenting children, we're just kind of built differently.
Yeah, that's true.
This is another card here in my angel deck, and it'll be the last one that I pull from here. But the last message coming through is to make your decision, collective. Ask yourself which way brings you closer to your divine purpose and which way takes you away from it. And that's a really good card to leave on this reading. Again, I'll repeat that. To make a decision, ask yourself which way brings me closer to my divine purpose and which way takes me away from it. That's pretty deep.
Yeah, definitely.
That's pretty deep.
I definitely needed to hear that.
And if the name is any significant, the angel on that card is Vanessa. And so Vanessa is asking us to make that decision, really going introspectively, going in deep, collective, like, who do you want to show up as in 2024? Exactly. Are you aligning with your purpose? Are you aligning with what you're doing, with what you're saying and who you are? And so really asking us to show up in a different way.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
So that deck is awesome. It has a lot of angel and mantra significance, which I love for clients that are seeking guidance in words of affirmation, because everyone has, different love language, and a lot of the clients that I work with just seek, words of affirmation, guidance, feeling good. So that card is really lovely to use for extra reassurance. Now, to close the reading, we have Jane Wallace, and this is my crystal tarot deck. This deck is as ancient as my soul. I've had it for like 15 years.
Oh, wow.
And the first card is coming out is a 9 of Wands, which is I am strong for as long as I need to be strong. 9 is like a mirror. If you flip 9, it can be 6. So if you flip it the other way, it's 9, right? When I see that number, I think of change. And I think of really seeing things from both sides. So collective, are you seeing things from your perspective only? Or are you seeing things from the other's perspective? So having a new perspective lens. The Hierophant, going into the last, what do we got? Not even full 3 months of 2023, right?
Yeah,
Just about.
Exactly.
Spirit is asking us to be open. Are we ready to learn? Are we ready to love? Are we ready to let those things in? So really just being open to receive and learn, as well as a 10 of Swords coming out here. There's some endings that need to take place for a lot of us, and this is good with the eclipse season. It pairs just right. Endings for beginnings. meaning you might see a lot of relationships fall out. A lot of celebrities might be getting divorced if they haven't already. You will see that right now because a lot of people are realizing they're waking up before this new transition and saying, hey, I know what I'm worth. I think I want to do something different, or I want to shift. I want to pivot. And that's totally fine. We're not trees. We're not meant to be planted. So you'll see that in the collective, just seeing truth and endings and into the beginnings. And I'm going to leave it with this card, which is, if I had a client in front of me, they would be freaking out. It is the devil card. This isn't significant in anything negative. Usually what this means is into this next transition, it's being free of whatever is holding us back. So really allowing all of the walls, all of the barriers, all of the things, self-sabotage, self-limiting beliefs, really allowing them to crumble down. And so we can flourish. We can really radiate into what we're supposed to be and who we're supposed to be. So here on the card, guys, I'm just looking at it. It has two significant things that I'd like to point out. And it is white butterflies and the crystal black obsidian. White butterflies are really pure. They're really radiant. So into this new season, you'll also be seeing a lot of pregnancy announcements. You'll be seeing a lot of families expanding, or you'll see a lot of new teachers, people in higher up positions. A lot is changing in our government too. That's a whole nother topic. But you're going to see a lot of change everywhere in every aspect of the world and people. So in order to see all this change, we have to be free. We have to be free of whatever is holding us back in order to move into this next chapter and this next part of our lives. So I'm really excited for us as a collective. If you've been doing the work for the last couple of months, you will be reaping your rewards. I promise that. And through this eclipse, you won't have to go through so much inner change. And like I said, those are for us that have been really putting in the self-work, grounding, protecting our energy, releasing, letting go, trying new things. For those that have just been a little bit stagnant and unsure, we're going to have to go through it a little deeper so that we can really find out what's holding us back so we can move forward. And that's it. That is everything.
That was such a good reading. I feel like that everything you said could apply to anyone. I mean, I love what you said about, endings need to occur in order for new beginnings to begin. And like, I really needed to hear that. And I also loved what you said about we're not trees. We're not meant to stay in one place. Like, I love that. I just love it.
Yeah,
I needed to hear all of that.
Exactly. That was really good. That was really good, Jessica.
Amazing.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
It's my absolute pleasure. Of course, my absolute pleasure.
So, Jessica, what exciting or projects, hopefully they're exciting, do you have coming up, if any at all, or events, and again, I know you're not actively, at a particular location and you're not kind of taking, on new clients and all that. But what are your aspirations and dreams like within the next, couple of months when it comes to holistic wellness? And again, you sound like you've been doing, pop-ups and different things like that. So what do you have coming up?
Thank you for asking. I have, so remember in the beginning, I mentioned community. I have this big project with my school. I am a part of what's called Community Action Leadership Academy. Mm-hmm. And so what that means is we are a cohort. This is a very new cohort to Riverside City College, but there are 10 other cohorts in the U.S. And Gavin Newsom recently funded a big funding for this to be able to happen, for college students to be able to join these scholarship programs to be a part of their community and give back. So for next 9 months, I will be really focused and giving back to my community here in Riverside, specifically to downtown and east side. And where I will be at is called the Center Riverside rape crisis center.
Oh, wow.
So there was a lot of institutions that we had the option to work at, to be placed at. But I felt that this one resonated with me so deep from the beginning. And I feel like advocacy isn't really taught and shown, especially to children and in schools. And it's just something that we don't really talk about or hear. So I will be really involved with the RRAC is what they're called. And then I have a pop-up coming where I will be doing 15-minute Reiki resets. I will be doing crystal healing there just because I wanted to give back to, as well as to like the clients that I haven't seen and people that, see me on Instagram and are curious to see what I do and how I do it. So I'll be doing that on the 21st of this month here at the Tyler Galleria. So I don't have a lot going on, but what I do have going on, I feel like is really significant. And what I'm trying to achieve, which was my biggest thing this year, is doing more for my community. I consider myself a gem of all trades. I like going back to the tree. I've never really been rooted or planted. I want to do as much as I can. There's this saying that I stick to. There's your tombstone, right? We have a date of birth. We have a dash in the middle. And then we have our date of, when we die. And I want that dash in the middle to be the biggest legacy, the biggest significance where I can leave behind not only to my kids, but my community and make an impact where it matters. And so when I do pass, that line in the middle won't just be a dash. It'll be filled with so much significance and impact. So that's kind of where I'm at. And even though I'm not seeing clients, I'm working and doing something so much more profound, bigger than myself, that I'm like, the clients and the business and all that fun and things that I love to do, it'll come. Right now, I'm meant to do this. And I'm like, all right, my feet are planted in here and we'll see where the next 9 months leads me.
Yeah, that's incredible. Incredible work, incredible, you're a credible person to take on all that because, I call myself a running empath, meaning I'm always trying to run from people's feelings or large groups. But to be around people that's been in those particular, scenarios and incidents, that has to weigh a lot on you, and for you to still be in that environment has to be amazing.
Thank you. It is rewarding. At the end of the day, I go to sleep with a full heart and full intention of helping, people and touching someone's life. I always tell David, I'm like, he kind of gets a little flustered sometimes that I'm always everywhere, like talking to people, making friends. He's like, Jess, do you have to like always talk to people? And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, and that's just what it is. I want to be able to touch as many people as I can and connect with as many people as I can and remind us all of our greatness so that we're not just letting our lives go by and we're really taking advantage of everything that it has to offer us and what we have to give. We have so much to give and I'm ready to give it. And here I am. I'm doing just that.
That's incredible. Any last questions there, Carolyn?
No, just thank you so much for coming on. And I think it's like Bobby said, it's incredible that you're so concerned and you do so much for the community or you want to do so much for your community. And I think any energy that you put in to your community is going to definitely, it's going to benefit everyone. I think everyone will benefit from your energy and you're definitely an extroverted empath. I think Bobby and I are the introverted empaths who like to hide from people. But I think we need people like you. And I think it's wonderful that you go out there and you really get involved with people and you're curious and you want to help. So just really appreciate you for existing.
Thank you.
And for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that. And I would love to continue connecting with like-minded individuals. And I hope that through this show and talking with you guys that I'm able to do so. And hopefully it brings out more individuals to speak about these things that are just, it's a stigma not to, or it's creepy or too weird or whatever the reason is. And get them to come and speak of their own personal experiences. So Thank you guys so much for having me.
No, you're very welcome. Can you tell people your socials so that way if they want to get in contact with you, again, hopefully they'll try to lure you out of semi-retirement. But yeah, just let them know.
Yes, most definitely. You guys can reach me at ZenJess888 on Instagram, and that's zen.jess888. And then on Elevated Goddess as well on Instagram. And there you'll find the events that I will be hosting or having or being a part of. And you'll see different tools and different inspiring posts to keep you going, keep you motivated on this journey we call life. And I hope to see and interact with you all soon.
Amazing. Well, again, Jess, thank you so much for being on Strange Darkness Radio. And Carolyn, any last words?
Okay, I know you're trying to wrap up, Bobby, but I just want to tell you one thing, Jessica, before we let you go. When you said something about the maternal energy and then you brought up my dog, I just got her as a puppy a few months ago. She's going to be 1 year old in December. And this dog is my baby. I mean, my world revolves around her. So you were spot on with that. I just wanted to let you know.
Is she a big dog?
She's going to be. Yeah, she's a husky.
Yes.
She's a husky.
Is she a... Okay, I'll say she's hairy, man. I've seen a lot of hair. I've seen a lot of hair.
Yeah, fluffy girl.
Oh, I'm so glad that was spot on. Well, congratulations. Animals are truly light bringers. They are the spirit guides. So I hope that she brings you so much love that you are deserving of, and she's just going to grow you. Oh, how exciting.
Yep. Thank you so much. You were spot on, and thank you for being an amazing guest.
Yes, and thank you.
We really enjoyed having you.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you for doing that reading live, for Carolyn. That's, so awesome. Alrighty, well, that was tonight's show, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead. You get to wrap it up tonight.
Thank you for joining us. Wow, you're really putting your faith in me tonight, Bobby. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Strange Darkness Radio. We'll see you next time.
Ethel, do you know where you are?
My body.
You have passed over. You died.
No. Everything, my body, they took it. It's gone.
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
We learned that for at least the past 8 years, military pilots frequently encountered unknown objects in controlled airspace off both the east and west coasts across the continental United States in test and training areas and ranges. We don't know where they come from, who made them, or how they operate.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots to the west. A wall thing, dude.
Cleveland County 911.
I don't know if I should have called this in or not, but
What's going on?
if I'd have had my camera, I'd take a picture of it.
Take a picture of who?
I don't know what it was. He's walking upright like a man. I would not kill it because I was afraid to. But it went back up the mountain.
Cleveland County 911.
Hello.
Can I help you?
Yes. This is Tim.
Uh-huh.
You probably have my address.
Yes, sir. What's going on now?
I shined a light on this thing.
Okay, what did it look like?
It looked like a giant ape with a man's face. But I was afraid to kill it. And it made a whistling sound. He was about 9-10 foot tall with real long arms. I go out there, he gets gone. Then I come back in the house, and he gets back there again, and my dogs are just raising heck. Was I just in any trouble? if I shot and killed this beast, this animal, or whatever it is, would I get in any trouble?
I can't answer that question.
If he goes too close to me, I won't kill him.